Hey guys, and welcome to episode 1 of this new multiplayer series called Multiplayer Mondays. In today's episode we are using none other than the undisputed Dodge Dart GT, also known as King Dart in our Asphalt community. This was the most highly requested car, and to be honest, I saw it coming a mile off. I was really expecting this car to be the first car that I use for this series. Now remember, every week we will alternate classes, so next week we will have C class cars, and then B class followed by A, and then finally S class before we return back to D class, but I will mention that towards the end of the video so you guys know which cars to request for next week's episode. Anyway, back to the Dodge Dart. This car is multiplayer tuned at a rank of something that does not exist, because this car cannot be multiplayer tuned, so it is therefore Max Pro, which cost me an enormous 200,000 credits back in 2014. But that's enough with the lame jokes before I lose out on any more potential viewers. So let me just say that it took me absolutely ages to finally get into a race. I probably had to wait 10 minutes before I could get into the first race on Dubai Reverse, which is what you are seeing right now. And the people that I go up against aren't very challenging, to be honest, but I'm not saying that in an offensive way. I'm guessing it's because they're probably new to the game, or they haven't really progressed that much, so they don't have any highly tuned cars or cars that are suited for multiplayer at a rank that would be suited for D class. So which is why the first lap of this race isn't very that exciting, but in the second lap of this race you will see what I do. My thoughts about this car, I can't really say much. This is the first car that everyone uses when they first ever played this game, so it's almost illegal to say something bad, because for some reason everyone just loves using this car even though it is the slowest car in the game. Speaking of which, look how much has changed, guys. I mean, in Asphalt 8 the first car that we used was the Dodge Dart. Now in Asphalt 9, when you first download it and then you get to first race in that game, it's a LaFerrari. So that just shows how much has changed over the past 3 or 4 years. Well, actually towards the end of this year it would be 5 years, because Asphalt 8 was launched in 2013. Anyway, enough with that. So let's see, over here what I do is I pause, I just brake, and I reverse the car, I go backwards because I'm waiting for the other guys to catch up to make it a bit more interesting. So I think I let 2 people pass me before I decide to race again. And at this point I'm thinking maybe that was a bad idea, because they seem to be moving pretty fast, but then I realized that actually I don't think they've tuned the cars like I mentioned, so to catch them up would be pretty simple. So I get past the first guy pretty easily, but the guy in first place seems to be moving pretty well. But the way I realized that these guys aren't that experienced is because they're taking the wrong route. Now you have to be pretty new to the game to not know what the fastest route in this game is, so I very easily catch him up as well. Now he's using a Alfa Romeo, I think, if I know my cars right, otherwise I'm gonna get absolutely roasted in the comments. But no, I think I'm definitely right with that one. So yeah, overtake him, and over here I just decide to continue racing and just finish off the race. Apart from this car, the other highly requested cars that were said by a lot of people was the Mazda RX-8, the Ariel Atom V8, and the Porsche 959. Now, touching upon requesting cars, I did mention in the introduction to this series that if you see somebody who has commented the exact same car, then all you have to do is just like their comment. Now a lot of you did, but many of you continue to write the same car in the comments. It just makes it a little more difficult, because I probably would have to add up all the likes from all the separate comments to see which car is the most requested vehicle. But yeah, after I did look through the comments of that introduction video, the Dodge Dart was the highest number in likes. Now then, on to the next race on Munich. We're up against a Suzuki, a Mini Cooper, and I think we also go up against a Audi R8 Special Edition. So we get off to a really smooth start. I'm still not used to the Munich tracks when I'm using fast cars, because there's so many alternate routes that I could use, and I haven't fully explored this track yet, so I still don't know which is the absolute fastest way on this track, but yeah, you see the R8 SE just takes off, and I was so busy looking at the minimap that I didn't realize I'm going into wall. And look at that, I respawned right in front of a train, so now I'm way behind and I got a bit of work to do. So maybe this would make it slightly interesting, but there is no way that I'm getting back that first position. He's just way too fast. And look at this, it's like I'm playing Whack-A-Mole Dodge Dart edition. But yeah, this is what I was mentioning about all the different routes that you could use on this track. There's so many possible corners that you could cut, ramps that you could go up, or even different like mini alleyways that you could go through. So there's still quite a bit of exploring to do. I don't know, but the thing is, we haven't even had much events on this track. We've had the odd few. I mean, we've had R&D. Nobody spends time finding out the best way to get around the track in events like that. Maybe like quick race or season 9 races, but I've not seen anyone pay much attention to this track as it is. Now, I go off topic quite a lot, the gameplay, so yeah, I'm just drifting, wiggling, you know, trying to get some nitro back. And that's another thing I still haven't talked about yet, is I'm using an extra tank. I did not want to use a single tank for this car because it's just way too slow and it'd take way too long, so that's why I thought I'd activate a extra tank and make use of it in some of the time limited events as well. So yeah, you saw on that leaderboard that the R8 special edition, so there was no way that I could stand up or even go up against him, so it was just an easy win for him. Now, I would have normally left it at 2 races, but because it is the first episode, I thought why not make it 3, so you have one more race to watch on sector 8, which is another 2 laps. And whilst you watch that, I'm just gonna mention a few last things before I finish off this commentary and leave you with a soundtrack to watch the rest of the race. First thing is, I'm sorry if you did not find this episode that particularly interesting, but it was the Dodge Dart, so there was not really much competition to go up against because they're just slow cars. Secondly, next week we are going to be using C-Class cars, so comment below which C-Class car you want me to use. And remember, if you see somebody who has already commented the exact same car that you would have chosen, then all you have to do is like their comment. Also, I want to apologize for the awful sound quality. I still don't have a mic that I could use for commentary, so I'm just using my laptop mic and I'm plugging in my headphones, so that's what I'm speaking into, which is why the audio is sometimes, well, throughout the video, most of the video, it sounds very muffled. That's not because of the way I speak, it's just because I don't have a proper mic yet that I could use. However, if you enjoyed my commentary and what I talk about, then let me know that in the comments below. Like the video also, and let me know if you made it this far into the commentary as well. I still do get slightly nervous when I sit down to record a commentary. I'm not used to it yet, but I am learning. I'm on a learning curve and I can only get better from here. In my mind, the commentaries go a lot better than when I actually sit down to do them, but don't worry, over time I will eventually get better. Like always, if you are one of those legendary subscribers that has made it this far into the video and has been watching it from the start, then write that down below as well. That's all I have to talk about for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed. I'll leave you with the rest of the gameplay, and I'll speak to you guys in next week's episode where I will be using a C-Class car. Until then, take care and bye.
we made her. Can't get enough of you, boo, I'm a chaser. Face her, now I feel a little major. Blink of an eye, ego, I'ma take her, shake her. Yeah, she was a born shaker. She shake me out that door to no place. Damn, why you doing all that? Thought you was my wife, but you stabbed me in the back. Something like a rose when we came out there. We settle facts like Da Vinci. I'm breaking codes, so breaking backs. Come on.